Hello, this is Nicole with No It's Crochet, and we're on tap today to do another one of our Crochet Swatch Saturdays. Today we're going to be working up the Loops and Threads Silky, what is this? Silky Soft. That's it. And we're going to see how it performs. It is a 100% rayon from bamboo. It feels very similar to True, but these colors are, oh my gosh, amazing. So let's see if it gives us the same splitting nightmare or if this might be one of those contenders for continuing to try again. I don't know, most of the loops and threads I'm kind of iffy on. Let's check this one out. Come on over. And here we are with this Silky Soft rayon from bamboo. But before we dive in, I'm going to give my score assessment. Let's see, what do I think this is going to score? I think this is going to get a 3 point, I'm going to say a 3.8. We'll see. We'll see once we get done how I did. Now, I want to know from you, out of a 5.0, what do you think this is going to get? Put your answers in the comments below, and then we will find out who's the closest at the end. Okay, so we're going to try and find the middle here. And we can see it's already coming to pieces, which we know is going to be a good indication this is going to be a splitty yarn. I mean, this color is absolutely stunning. To my knowledge, True does not have any really vivid colors like this. They're all pretty muted overall. This is an incredible color. I mean, this is close to my spirit animal. It's a little bit pinker than I like, but it's pretty darn close. All right, so let's test this out. Now, I do have to say, I have been working with Kobu lately, so I'm kind of in a good place to test to see how splitty it is, but maybe it's going to give me an unfair advantage. Now, the Loops and Threads, this is a brand that is available from Michaels, and you can get that either locally at Michaels stores, or you can order it on michaels.com if you don't happen to have a Michaels close to you. I would also suggest that you order it from michaels.com even if you want to pick it up locally, simply because the michaels.com prices, I have noticed, are quite often less expensive than the physical store prices. So even if you do an order on your phone while you're physically at the store and ask for pickup, a lot of times you can kind of go up to the counter and say, hey, can I pick up the order that I just put in? It gives you the best of both worlds that way. I know it's kind of cheating the system, but I'm a little bummed that Michaels does that in the first place. They sort of push you to do the online sales as if they don't want you in their stores at all. Just my personal opinion on that. Now, this is considered a 3-weight yarn, so let's pull out our gauge here and see how we are doing. Yeah, I am definitely going to put that into the sport, possibly almost the fingering weight. I don't see this as being a DK weight at all. I'll give it a sport weight category, but I'm not going to put it all the way up to the DK. Not in the slightest. And it does recommend a 4mm crochet hook, so that is what I'm using today. So we'll see how that does. This is the colorway Boysenberry. And I think it's just so pretty. I could totally wrap my head around wearing this color. This is a 100% rayon from bamboo. And if you're not familiar, most of the time rayon is from bamboo. They just call it that because it's not like, it's processed. So they call it rayon from bamboo because there's a little processing involved there. Oh, I hate tangles. Yeah, I was untangling some stuff the other day. My husband's like, you know, that right there would be the whole reason I could never get into that hobby, because of the tangles. I'm like, well, you know, sometimes untangling things, if I'm in the right frame of mind, can be a little bit therapeutic. Sometimes, most of the time, probably not. I don't know. Are you a lover of the detangling process, or is that just like, yeah, you'd rather just chuck it? I have chucked some yarn that very expensive yarn actually, that I was gifted, and it got to be such a tangled mess that it was a nightmare, and I just couldn't do it. Because it had nibs on it, and it was thick and thin, and it had something else on it that was just making it extremely challenging to use. I did look at the reviews on this project on both Ravelry and on Michaels. On Ravelry, there are about 1,200, almost 1,300 projects using this yarn. Of those 1,300, about 500 of them are crocheters. So it's fairly evenly dispersed between knitters and crocheters, maybe a little bit towards the knitters, but not too much. And the reviews on Ravelry, out of like 178-ish reviews, it got a 3.7. On the Michaels website, there were about 1,200 plus reviews, and it did better. It did a 4.4 overall. Now, again, so far I'm not getting any splits. I don't want to knock on wood yet. I mean, this definitely looks to be very similar to a Truboo. I actually have some Truboo, so I'll pull some out and do a side-by-side. But let's go ahead and snip this off and jump over and do our double crochet. And there we go. I am going to go ahead and lay that down. We've got our two little guys there. All right, for our yarn, we are doing our, what is it? Silky Soft. After a while, these all run together. Silky Soft. The hook size we are using is the recommended 4mm. Weight listed is a DK, and I am going to put that as a sport, an optimistic sport. It's really trying very hard to be a sport. All right, the fiber is 100% rayon from bamboo. And that gives us, I don't know why I'm writing that. That gives us, what do I normally write the rayons, the bamboos? I think that is a 4. All right, for feel, we definitely love the feel of our silks. It definitely feels like silk. Our bamboos, we're going to give that a 5. Now the color range on this. I mean, these are such stunning, vivid colors. There are still only 27, I think, 21 colors. So we can only give that a 3, but I'm definitely going to give it a bonus down here of 1 for the amazingly vivid colors that it has available. All right, splits. There was 2 splits that I caught, and I don't know, to be honest with you, if that's because I've been working with the Kobu lately and it's one of those kind of classic situations where it just takes practice. There's definitely some potential there for splitting. I'm going to take off a 0.5 point, so we're going to give it a 3.5. Stitch definition, I mean, bamboos are always classic. They always have a very lovely, very clean stitch definition. 5. All right, let's see drape here. Now this is a smaller piece, so it might be a little bit tougher to kind of see. It definitely, it has a little bit of curl, but our double crochet here, it's just quite liquidy and fluid. No problem whatsoever. I definitely feel like the single crochet, if there were more, it would definitely fall quite easily. So we're going to give it that traditional, you know what, I'm going to give it a 4.5 because I don't feel like it's quite as drapey. It frogs perfectly easily. No problem whatsoever. All right, washability. What do we have here? Machine wash cold. Dry flat to lie? Yes, dry flat. Lay flat to dry. That's what I was trying to say. So machine wash cold, it's one of those handle with cares. We'll give it a 3. Now the price on this, now this is a 100 grand skein. So even though the price on it is $6.99 currently on the website, I think it's like $7.49 at my local Michael's, but we're going to go with the website price at 100 grams, 240 yards. That puts it at 2.8 cents per yard, which is our ultra budget. Just by a smidge. You know what? I'm going to give it that 4.5 instead of the total 5 because I know in the stores it's higher. And it's so close to the affordable. Yeah, can't quite give it that 5. Let's do a little comparison here. I did grab one of my True Boo swatches so you can see the luster on these is extremely close. I would say the drape is extremely close. I would actually say the True Boo feels a little bit softer. Yeah, I definitely think that the True Boo feels softer than the Silky Soft. This just feels a little bit more knotty. So that's interesting. Just kind of a commentary. It doesn't have any effect whatsoever on the scores, but just thought I'd share that. I think performance-wise, this is going to perform very, very similar to the True Boo. The colors are much more vivid in this line than the True Boo. So I think bang for your buck, it really just depends on what you're looking for. If you want the more vivid colors and you're okay with something that's a little less soft overall, I think this would be fine. Let's do our math. We come out at 38.5 divided by 9. Whoa. 4.27. Okay, I was off a little bit. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Very, very interesting overall. Would I buy this yarn again? After working with the Kobu and having a little bit more practice with it, I definitely think that I would, especially because I love the colors in this line better than I like the colors in Trubu line. I do think that I like the softness of the Trubu better. But hey, what matters more, softness or colors? To me, I think it's colors. I do. Let me know what you think in the comment below. How close were you to our final score? This actually gets a Farrah's favorites. Unreal. I did not see that coming. So let's talk more next week on our next Crochet Swatch Saturday, and I will see you later. Hey, Farrah, frog us out of here.